Alright, what is going on, guys? My name is Leon Master. Welcome back to another Overwatch League news video. And today, guys, we have a decent amount to go over you guys for today. We have some leaks coming from Halo of Thoughts. Once again, we got Vancouver Titans. We got Houston Outlaws leaks coming through. Also, some more pickups that have been leaked in the past, now official. And we got a release at the end of the video, which is Stand 1. So let's go ahead and jump into the biggest thing that has happened these past couple of days is Halo of Thoughts has leaked Vancouver Titans have signed Fried and Fire, which I think, honestly, my opinion, are actually really good signings for this team. I've seen a lot of mixed opinions on why they signed these players, and I think I'm going to be one of the odd ones out, and I think these are actually really good signings. I think Fire, if you watch them as Contenders days, he was the best main sport hands down in Contenders in his time. Yes, it was really hard to get that best position, I guess you could say, in Contenders, because there was like Karkar, who was really good, and there's many other main sport players that were really good in Contenders, and Fire was fantastic, and people would even compare him to Moth, and I honestly kind of agree with that in some sort of way. He's not Moth level, I would say, but he's kind of near Moth's level. Kind of near it. He's not on Moth's level. But Fire, he's shot calling's really good, and he's all around good on Mercy, good on Lucio, good on Brig. We saw that a little bit on Atlanta, but it wasn't the best showing of his. He's good on all main sports. He's a shot caller, and he is a massive upgrade to Vancouver Titans. I know I said Karkar was one of the best in Contenders at the time. That didn't really come through on Vancouver Titans. I don't really think that's on Karkar. I think that's more on the Vancouver Titans team in general. There's a lot of issues behind the scenes, I'm guessing. And you bring Fire in, and that's just, like I said already, a massive upgrade. He brings in a certain playstyle I think no other team has had just yet. I think Fire could go in and out, passive, aggressive, and Fire brings that to a team. I think all around, Fire needed to be in Overwatch League this season. I was really disappointed when he got on Atlanta last season because I knew he was so good on starter worthy, and I was so disappointed he got on Atlanta Reign because I knew Massa was going to start because they already had that Season 2 synergy. Why would they put Fire in? But I'm really happy Fire is going to Vancouver Titans. Definitely a team you needed to go to. And also, a prediction for me, right? Once again, a couple months ago, I knew Fire was going to get released and probably go to Vancouver Titans or another team in general. But very happy to see Fire is now on a different team. Now on to the next one, which is Fried, which I honestly, my opinion, is a really huge signing. I know a lot of people don't really say that just yet because we haven't seen Fried in a while, and I know people may go back to my Michelle argument, but I think Fried was one of the best off tanks in Season 2 when we did get to see him play mainly all the time. Yes, he had a very rough, first couple of weeks in the Overwatch League. I remember when he first joined Atlanta Reign, I said he was probably the worst off tank in the league. A month went by, he went up to the top off tanks in the league, in my opinion. He was dominating on Hog when he got to play. He was dominating on Zarya and D.Va. Majority of it was D.Va because of GOATs, and also 222 came in. It was majority D.Va. We didn't really see him play Sigma, though, because of Gator. Gator was a great Sigma at the time Sigma came into the game, so I can't really say Fried's a good Sigma just yet because we haven't seen it, but his D.Va was top tier, his Zarya is top tier, and his Hog's top tier. Him coming into Vancouver Titans, I think I have a hot take, but I think Fried is potentially better than KSA if we look at the past. KSA was great in Contenders. He showed great performances on Vancouver Titans because he did what he could on that team. He had a limited amount of resources. He did great performances. But I think Fried will be a actually upgrade over KSA. Now, that may be a hot take to some people, but if you watch Fried in the past, and even on his streams, he's still a dominant off-tank when it comes to him in the game, and I think Fried's going to be massive for this team. Hopefully there's more signings to this team, because I don't think Fried and Fire are going to change this team massively. I still think you need a new flex support. I still think you need a new flex DPS. I think you need a main tank in general, but if they want to keep Shredlock, I can see potential of Shredlock and Fried, but I'm not sold on it being like a top tier, maybe middle of the pack, because of Fried makes that really good. And you also have Fire, who is just a huge game changer for this team, in my opinion, if you've seen him from this past. And obviously, he didn't really show that much on Atlanta. It's been a while since we've really seen these guys. I know we can talk about my Michelle argument, because I said we haven't seen him in a while. I'm not sold on him just yet. But if you're ranking people like Fried, who was one of the best off-tanks in the league, and Michelle was probably like a solid off-tank, solid to high. He was up there, but not as consistent as Fried was. And if you're looking at Fire, I got to go off on his past performances on NV. I can't really go off what his Overwatch League games was, because he didn't really play that much. It was like Gibraltar with Brigitte. That was not everything we could see. He didn't really play the best, but we didn't really see him play Lucio. We didn't see him really play Mercy. We saw him play Brig. Wasn't the best performances. Yes, I gotta agree on that. But if you look behind the scenes, he is a fantastic main support player, and I think he can bring that Vancouver Titans. The same thing goes with Fried. Okay, now on to the Houston Outlaws part of this video. We have two things, a leak and something that's been official. That'll be a whole separate part. But Halo of Thoughts has leaked that Houston Outlaws are signing, or expected to sign, Joobi. And I gotta say, maybe because I haven't seen him play recently, but don't know what I think about this signing. I've seen him in the past. I thought he was solid in contenders and the times I did see him play, but I'm not sold on him being a top main sport, I will say. Maybe that's me because I'm not watching him recently. I'm not sold on this signing if this is going to happen. I don't think Joobi's going to be the top main sport, and maybe that's what, Outlaws are expecting. Not him being a top main sport and building him up to be one, because obviously they still have Junk Book, right? I feel like a lot of people are forgetting that. And you also have Harsha, who are great coaches. We saw that in the past with Team USA. And hopefully, they're trusting, the trials that's going on behind the scenes, and they saw Joobi as the best option, which I'm going to be real, I don't think Joobi's the greatest main sport, but if they trust them, they trust them. I always say trust the coaches because they definitely know what they're doing. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. They know what's going on. So if Joobi's the signing for them, good on them. I right now as an outsider, I don't know what I think about this one. I don't think it's going to be massive for you guys, but if it is behind the scenes, then go ahead. But what I saw in contenders, and most recently I should say, I'm not sold on him just yet. I definitely think he will be solid though. Absolutely, I think he will be solid. Now that's been official with the Houston Outlaws. It is Happy being picked up on the Houston Outlaws. I talked about this a lot in the past, but I definitely think this is a fantastic signing from this team. Obviously, they lost Linkser, who was a solid hit scan, I would say. He was up and down a lot. He had a lot of inconsistent times and a lot of consistent performances that were fantastic. Now they're bringing in Happy, which I think is definitely the upgrade for this team needed to have that full hit scan player. And the thing about Happy is that he's consistent. He pops off every game he can. Maybe there'll be one or two bad games, but he pops off in every game. A Widowmaker, Tracer, all the hit scans in the game, I should say, about Happy. He's really good on all roles when it comes to hit scan. And I'm excited to see how this plays out with him beside Dante, maybe a new DPS player. They still have Hydration. Maybe Nero's still going to get signed to this team. We don't know that one just yet. They're just kind of up in the air because there was a trade that came in with Nero, or a better deal, I should say. But we need to wait and see what happens with Houston Outlaws. Happy so far is a massive step in the right direction for the DPS area. Happy, Dante, and Hydration maybe could be a really good DPS score, and also if Nero possibly coming in as well. Happy is a great addition to this team for the DPS area. Now on to the Chengdu Hunters, and I talked about these before. They were leaked in the past from Halo of Thoughts once again, but they have been official. I'm going to talk about them once again. It is Gaga in 1987 being signed to the Chengdu Hunters, and as you can tell, yes, they have changed their names, and I'm going to be real, I'm probably going to say the exact same thing. Gaga now has a 9 in there, and 1987 now is Far Away in there. I don't think anyone's ever going to say Far Away. I think everyone's going to say 1987 because we're just kind of used to it at this point. It's also shorter. It rolls off the tongue way easier than Far Away 1987. Just 1987, way easier to say. Gaga. Also, I don't know if the 9 is supposed to be anything representing, but I'm just keep saying Gaga. I don't know anything just yet. But with these additions, I definitely think Chengdu's kind of moving in the right direction. Obviously, they don't have Molly anymore, who was a fantastic flex sport for this team. Now he's onto the Shanghai Dragons, and now you have 1987, which I think is actually going to be a solid flex sport this next season. I don't think he's going to be Molly level, to be honest. I don't think he's going to be that top tier, but I think 1987 is going to be a definition of a solid flex support player coming into this team. He plays all the supports really well on what he plays, Ana, Zen, really good performances from 1987. You also have Gaga in, and he's going to be that top main tank for this team. As we've seen from him in contenders, he's going to pop off a lot. He's going to be way better than Ameng, or at least I should say an upgrade on Ameng. Ameng still can play the ball, in certain comps, certain metas. Gaga can play everything else, and he's actually really good on all those roles. He's really good, really solid, and I'm excited to see how these pickups change the Chengdu Hunters. Obviously, there's a lot of other signs that Chengdu Hunters have made. Now I'm excited to see how they dominate on the stage. Now onto the good news with some San Francisco Shock fans. It is that Violet has been re-signed to the SF Shock, which I definitely think is a good sign for Shock fans, or just Shock in general, I should say. A lot of Shock fans are worrying, like, is he going to go to a different team? Is he going to Seoul Dynasty? Is he going to a different team? No, he's being re-signed to the SF Shock, and I'm actually excited to see how this plays out as well. The whole team's kind of changes. They have FD got in, and you also have Tayo possibly being the next Flex DPS for this team. A lot of change has been happening. Maybe Super's going somewhere as well, but Violet being re-signed, probably a lot of fans wanted to see, because, there was a lot of baits going on the Twitter page. Violet being re-signed, great to see this happen. He was a top flex sport for this team last season, and to 2 seasons, I should say, for the San Francisco Shock, and I'm really excited to see how this turns out. Nothing much to really say here. It's not a new signing, not a new pickup. It's just him being re-signed. We already know how good Violet is. Now on to the last thing, which was Shanghai Dragons has released Stand 1, which is actually really interesting to see. They signed Fate, who was going to be the replacement for Fearless, but, you would think they would have a backup just in case Fate did not, perform as well. They not dominate, not perform as well, and they would have a backup, which was Stand 1. But nope, Stand 1 has gotten released, friendly negotiations, and he's now been released, and now he's going to look for a new team, and I definitely think it's going to be obvious for him to go to a new team. And I wrote 3 teams down for him that he can go to. I actually hyped up Stand 1 a lot before the season started, because I watched him on LA Gladiators Legion, I watched him on Team Envy. He was a really good main tank, and it sucks that he didn't really get any playing time on this team. He got a few at the start of the season, and he also got a few at near the end of the season as well. Stan1 now been released. He's going to go to a team most likely, and I did write 3 teams down. And the 3 teams I wrote down is Atlanta Reign. I'm going to start off with that one first. I still have 2 more, but Atlanta Reign, I definitely think he would actually be a really good upgrade to this team. Over Gator. Maybe they don't want to mess with the tank duo, so it's kind of hard to say. I don't know if they're going to change Gator or Hawk. I definitely think they should. To be honest, they definitely should if they actually want to move somewhere. I definitely think Stan1 may go in the right direction. I don't think it's massive of an upgrade, but I definitely think it's an upgrade over Gator from what we've seen in the past. And Stan1 comes in, brings in his playstyle. Whoever his off tank will be, maybe Hawk, maybe someone new, and he would do really good on the Atlanta Reign. Also, my second team I wrote down was the Florida Mayhem. I definitely think he would be a decent replacement for Fate, you know, seeing how the things kind of go. He was on Shanghai Dragons, Fate went on there, Stan1 goes to the Florida Mayhem to replace Fate. I don't know. I don't know if this will happen just yet. You know, you still have OG, and now you have Stan1 that are main tank free agents. Probably more out there, but those are the 2 that really stand out now. And Stan1 going to Florida Mayhem would be actually a pretty decent replacement in my opinion. I definitely think OG probably fits their playstyle a lot more than Stan1 does, and maybe he can change that and be a lot more aggressive than he was in the past, and he could just play well with Gargoyle, Yaki, and all the people on Florida Mayhem, and maybe he will dominate on that team. And the team I definitely think he's going to go to the most, the third team I wrote down, was the Houston Outlaws. They currently don't have a main tank. They need a main tank in general, and they haven't really had a good main tank in the past before. Stan1 comes in, and I definitely think he'll be really good for that main tank spot. You know, he's played with mixed rosters before, like I said already, Team Envy and Gladiators Legion. He's played in those environments before, and now he's played on the Shanghai Dragons, got some experience there. He could go to the Houston Outlaws, and I definitely think he actually really fits that team and the playstyles they have. He can play right beside Dante well, he can play beside Happy well, and maybe even the other players like Joobi and Crimzo. I definitely think he can fit that team, and he's even played with Crimzo in the past before on Team Envy. So all around, I definitely think Stan1 would probably go to the Houston Outlaws the most. It fits, in my opinion, it makes the most sense as well what we see the surrounding parts that team has. He fits the playstyle, he kind of fits that team in general, and he's also worked with players like Crimzo before, like I said in the past, and like I said, I think he'll fit. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for me. What are you guys' thoughts on the Vancouver Titans leaks? Do you think Fried is the right off-tank? Do you think Fire is the right main sport? What are your thoughts on Joobi, the Houston Outlaws? You know, do you have the same opinions as me? Do you think he'll come through like a hidden gen kind of thing and be super underrated coming in? What are you guys' thoughts on that? Anyways, guys, that's going to be for me. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys want to stay more in tune with Overwatch League news and Overwatch League stuff in general, don't forget to subscribe down below. Also, join my Discord that's down below as well. And don't forget to follow my Twitter and my Twitch. And don't forget to hit that bell. And don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below. And I'll see you guys on the next one.